It began with a book promising to unlock the full potential of the human mind, to eradicate all pain and suffering. It offered a scientific path to a better self, and it was created by a man who had spent his entire life exploring new worlds. Not as a scientist, but as a writer of fiction. It promised an end to madness and a clear, simple path to a better life. But what if the path was a one-way street? What if the book was just the beginning of a story that spiraled from self-help therapy to a global religion? A story of an intergalactic tyrant, a legal war of attrition, and a staggering paradox at its heart. The paradox of a profit-making enterprise dressed in the robes of a church. This is the story of Scientology. The official story begins with a hero, a decorated World War II veteran, the youngest Eagle Scout in America, a brilliant explorer. This is the origin story that the Church of Scientology presents to the world. But the historical record tells a different tale.
When I first entered a university, I took science and mathematics. I was forced to take this rather than philosophy, which was my natural bent. And I learned the rules of logic and the scientific approach. These things, by the way, are not generally known to philosophers. And my first effort was to find a common denominator to all men. And I had seen him in his more primitive states, and I'd seen him in his highly cultured states. And I said, somewhere one can isolate a common denominator that embraces all men. And perhaps from that, we can unlock this riddle.
Before he was a prophet, L. Ron Hubbard was a struggling author. He wrote in a variety of genres, westerns, adventure stories, and most importantly, science fiction.
Well, dogs did prove to be more cooperative than man animals. For some reason, they weren't as useful when it came to manual labor.
He was a man with a genius for storytelling, but who, by 1950, was in financial trouble. Then came Dianetics.
When I read it, I just went, this is it. This is exactly.
Published on May 9th, 1950, Dianetics, the modern science of mental health, was an instant commercial sensation. It wasn't presented as a religion, but as a science of the mind. Hubbard's core theory was simple. The human mind has a conscious analytical mind and a subconscious reactive mind. The reactive mind, he claimed, stored painful, traumatic memories called engrams. And these engrams were the source of all our problems, from emotional distress to allergies and ulcers. The cure? A one-on-one session called auditing.
It's alternatives that one has to be aware of, meaning that if one is educated on all the possibilities, drugs are notoriously a band-aid for various situations.
The goal was to erase those engrams and become clear, but the scientific and medical communities quickly rejected it. They dismissed it as a pseudoscience with no basis in fact. And faced with this failure to gain credibility as a science, Hubbard was at a crossroads. He needed a new way to operate, a new legal status that would offer protection from scrutiny. And so, on April the 10th, 1953, he wrote the now infamous letter to a colleague outlining his pragmatic solution. We don't want a clinic. We want one in operation, but not in name. It is a problem of practical business. I await your reaction on the religion angle. This single decision transformed a failed psychological theory into a new religious movement. In 1954, the Church of Scientology was born.
Hello and welcome. You've probably heard of Scientology.
It's something that has helped me incredibly in my life.
Yeah.
I've been a Scientologist for over 30 years.
Yeah.
And whether it's natural disasters or personal help with their lives. And I've always found it an enormous help and tool for me to survive better.
If anybody wants to find out about it, you should find out for yourself. It's called integrity.
Scientology is a unique blend of Eastern philosophy, science fiction, and modern self-help. Its core belief is that humans are thetans, immortal spiritual beings who've forgotten their true nature. The ultimate goal is to remember who you are and achieve your full potential as a thetan. The path to that freedom is called the Bridge to Total Freedom. And at the heart of this path is the practice of auditing. A Scientologist or pre-clear holds two metal cylinders connected to an E-meter, which is a device that measures changes in electrical resistance. The auditor asks questions, and the E-meter is believed to detect the mental stress associated with past traumatic experiences. But this spiritual journey comes with a cost.
I had a neighbor who was one of the nicest guys, and he was a great guy. He was in my old neighborhood, and he was a Scientologist. And I found out in the most bizarre way, because there was a piece of land that was for sale, and he was talking about this piece of land, about possibly purchasing it, but he was going to have to put it off because he needed $50,000 because his wife was going clear.
Unlike most traditional religions where donations are voluntary, auditing is a fee-for-service model. Members are charged for the hours and minutes of their sessions, and some have reported paying up to $1,000 per hour. While the public-facing teachings are accessible, Scientology's higher-level doctrines are kept confidential. To reach these operating thetan levels, members must complete a series of expensive preparatory courses and pass a security check to prove they're not a risk.
To get to this advanced level, it's called advanced levels.
Right.
You are put through the ringer. They go through every folder. Now, from the moment you walk into a church of Scientology, they have folders on you. So everything you've ever said is written down and videotaped. Okay. So they get your folders and they cull it. They go through it. Okay, and they go through every transgression. Are you still humping your pillow? Are you still, a nasty asshole to your mother? Like, they go through everything. Are you still connected to this person who said something bad about Scientology 20 years ago? So they make sure that you're eligible to get the advanced data.
It's at the third level, OT3, that L. Ron Hubbard's true cosmology is revealed. He detailed the story of a galactic ruler named Xenu, who, 75 million years ago, brought billions of his people to Earth, stacked them around volcanoes, and killed them all with hydrogen bombs. Why'd he bother bringing them then if he was just going to do them in? The disembodied spirits of these aliens, known as body thetans, are believed to attach themselves to humans and cause spiritual harm. The documents detailing these levels are so secret that members must read them in locked rooms.
You go into a room, a secure room. They give you a folder. You have to get a briefcase that only you know the code to. So you go up to the window, to the AO window, and you hand them your briefcase. They scan your briefcase, and they put the materials in the briefcase, and they close it. They turn it back to you, and you lock it. Then you attach the briefcase to your body. You get your briefcase. They go down the hall and use your thing, and you're going to be let into one door, and then you're going to go into another door, and then you're going to go into the course room. So you go into the 3 doors, or 2 doors, whatever it was, you sit down, you open up your briefcase, and you read the material for the first time. The answers.
Once these teachings were leaked and posted online, it was seen as a major blow to the church's control over its own narrative.
The Church of Scientology has been crucifying the federal agency for its sins on a regular basis, both in and out of courts.
In its early years, Scientology faced a barrage of legal challenges that directly attacked its claims and its very existence. In 1963, the US Food and Drug Administration raided the church's Washington, D.C. headquarters, seizing e-meters and accusing the organization of making false medical claims. The real fight, however, was with the US government's tax arm.
He managed to manipulate and maneuver getting rid of anybody in a position who could check him.
Yeah.
And that very, very much included the Internal Revenue Service.
In 1967, the Internal Revenue Service revoked the Church of Scientology's California tax-exempt status, ruling that it was a commercial enterprise operating for the financial benefit of L. Ron Hubbard himself. This was an existential threat to an organization built on a fee-for-service model. Hubbard's response to this mounting pressure was a policy he called attack the attacker. He directed his followers to investigate them promptly for felonies or worse, and to make it rough on attackers. Hubbard's private intelligence wing, the Guardian's office, orchestrated a widespread criminal operation called Operation Snow White. This involved the infiltration and burglary of over 100 government agencies, including the IRS and the Department of Justice. And their goal was to obtain or remove any documents that may cause harm to the Church of Scientology. And these criminal acts led to the imprisonment of 11 top Scientologists, including Hubbard's own wife, Mary Sue Hubbard. The discovery of these plots by the FBI provided irrefutable evidence of a criminal enterprise and cemented the cult and criminal organization allegations in the public mind. But the war wasn't over. In the 90s, the church launched a new legal strategy, a war of attrition against the IRS. It filed hundreds of lawsuits against the agency and encouraged thousands of its members to do exactly the same thing. The goal was to overwhelm the IRS and drain its litigation budget, and this decade-long conflict culminated in a landmark agreement on October the 1st, 1993, when the IRS granted tax-exempt status to the Church of Scientology and over 150 of its related organizations.
On October the 1st, 1993, at 8:37 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, the IRS issued letters recognizing Scientology and every one of its organizations as fully tax-exempt. The war is over!
In exchange, the church dropped all pending litigation. The public and the media widely interpreted the ruling as official US government recognition and religious legitimacy. But this was not a judicial declaration of authenticity. It was the result of a negotiated settlement, a legal victory won through an aggressive campaign. And to this day, a profound global divide remains. While Scientology enjoys religious status in the United States, Australia, and Italy, it's classified as a dangerous cult in countries like France, and it's also under investigation by the German government.
Meet the new recruit I signed up. New recruit? Boom, boom!
Boom, boom! My name is Barry St. Barry, and I can't wait to get inside and unlock my Nutra-future. Let me in! I love your energy.
Young man,
Boom, boom.
I know you don't remember it, but your name was L. Ron Hubbard. You revealed a secret which began the whole Church of Scientology.
You know, this hero, this dragonfly, he's not the answer, okay? I'm the answer.
Not a lot of people know this, but L. Ron Hubbard was a black man. Truth? His real name was L. Ron Hoyer Bembe.
It's John Travolta.
Is this where he lives? Is this where L. Ron Hubbard is? Oh my God!
Yes, John Travolta and Tom Cruise are big Scientologists. Do you believe me now?
The Church of Scientology's most powerful weapon was its ability to control information. For decades, it successfully used aggressive lawsuits to suppress critics and keep its higher-level doctrines under wraps. But a new force was emerging that it could not control.
Xenu thought his galaxy was overpopulated, and so he rounded up countless aliens from all different planets, and then had those aliens frozen.
For the first time, critics and defectors could organize, share information, and post copyrighted documents like the Xenu story for free. The church's strategy of intimidation was no longer effective in a digital realm where information could be instantly replicated and spread globally. And this shift was magnified by a wave of high-profile defectors. Former members like actress Leah Remini and senior executive Mike Rinder began to tell their stories to the world through mainstream media. They brought to light decades-old allegations of abuse, financial exploitation, and the controversial official policy of disconnection, where members are forced to sever ties with family and friends deemed critical of the organisation. The voices of these former members give credibility to the allegations, and their presence on television and podcasts allowed them to reach a massive audience that the church just couldn't silence anymore.
Did David Miscavige ever beat you?
Many times.
I've seen David Miscavige beat people up hundreds of times.
The story of Scientology is a study in paradox. It's a belief system that promises total freedom, but it's built on a strict fee-for-service model. It's a church that won its tax-exempt status, not through divine right, but through a brutal, decades-long war. The enduring debate, is it a religion, a business, or a cult, is answered differently depending on where you stand. But what is undeniable is that its history is a powerful testament to the lengths an organisation will go to control its own story, and how, in the end, it was its own aggressive tactics and the relentless march of time and technology that finally laid its most profound secrets bare.
Do you ever think that you might be quite mad?
Oh, yeah.
Out of everything that's on the internet, this is the best thing.
Oh yeah, just quickly before you go, I've been trying to persuade Mrs. Blinder to sexually stimulate me with a keyring, but she just keeps fobbing me off.
I don't think so. No, 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 no. I don't think so. No, 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 no. It's never, ever, 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 ever